Hey guys, sorry about that. I guess my camera cut off at a certain point. I don't know. And this is my first time doing this, so bear with me. This is leaving off from where we left off. Okay, so we're gonna continue here. I think where I stopped was I was just unbearably tired and exhausted, and I just wanted my husband. I ended up sending my doula home. God bless her. I feel so bad. She came all the way out there to help me, and was offering her support for no money or anything, and I just sent her home. But you got to do what you got to do when you're in labor. I mean, it's what you want, not what everybody else wants. So I'll just leave it at that. So I sent her home, and my husband walked the halls with me. I was in a lot of pain. I could not breathe anymore. I couldn't. My contractions were literally on top of each other. There was no focusing. There was no focal point anymore. There was nothing that I could do, nothing that I had learned through my pregnancy to prepare me for the kind of pain that I was now in. I came in, they checked me, and I was at like a 7, maybe a 7. And we decided, well, the doctor told me, you have not slept, you haven't eaten, you're exhausted, you need to get an epidural so that you can rest, because if you don't rest through this, your baby is not going to come at all. Your baby's not going to come. Your body is just too tired to progress. So I went ahead with the epidural. I didn't want it, but I had to do it. I had to do what I had to do to get my baby here, just like everybody else. So the plan changed. I laid in the bed really numb and couldn't feel anything. I could still feel some contractions on the left side of my body, but for the most part I was very numb. I started getting really tired at one point. The doctors checked my temperature. I was running a pretty high fever, and I had developed the infection that I was so afraid of, coming with your water being broken for too long. I got some IV antibiotics going, and I started to slip into this really tired realm. I felt like I had been drugged or something. I was exhausted, and it wasn't just from not sleeping. It was my blood pressure. It was going way down. That's one of the common side effects of having too much epidural is, it plummets your blood pressure. And I went into a state of unconsciousness. I remember being in and out of consciousness. I was seeing doctors around me. I was seeing shots being given to my leg and my thigh. And I just was so confused, but at the same time I was so tired. I just couldn't figure out what was going on, and I really didn't care. I was so out of it. When I came back and I woke up altogether, I was told I was being given shots of adrenaline, essentially, to wake me back up. And it was a really scary thing. I wasn't prepared for that at all. And they checked me again. And at this point, I was about 8 centimeters. I mean, after all that, I had only progressed 1 centimeter, and it was very discouraging. The doctor came in a couple hours later and checked me again. And at that point, I was 9 centimeters dilated with a lip of cervix in the way. And they said, okay, let's try and push this a little bit, and let's see if we can push that lip out of the way there. So I pushed. It was really difficult. I couldn't feel anything, and I didn't even know if I was pushing good enough or not. I mean, I've never pushed a baby out before, but I was so numb, I couldn't feel what I was doing at all. They said, yeah, you're doing pretty good. Just keep doing what you're doing. I pushed for another 5 minutes, and they said, we need to think about a C-section. They showed me the screen, and Zed's my baby. His his heart rate was going way down through my pushes, and it just wasn't a very good situation. So we had to go ahead and plan for a C-section. At 52 hours of labor on October 17th, 2017, at 10:12 a.m., my baby was born via C-section. My biggest fear. He came out with a really low blood sugar. He had an infection as well from the water being broken for too long. He was a little jaundiced, and he was in shock. It was just too much. He wasn't ready to be born. My body wasn't ready, the baby wasn't ready, I wasn't ready, and things were rushed. They had to take him straight to the NICU and sew me back up and take me to recovery. In recovery, I had to wait to go see my son in the NICU until I could start feeling my legs again. And once that started, the epidural started to wear off a little bit, like an hour or so later. They took me in my bed to the NICU so I could hold my son for the first time. I wasn't able to nurse him. I just held him. He had all these tubes and an IV and everything attached to him. And so it was really difficult to see. I'll post the video of the first time I got to hold my son. So I'll do that after I'm finished with this. So I got to see him for a few minutes, and then they took me back to the mother wing. I went to the floor, to carry out the rest of my hospital stay after my delivery. And the time that I was there, I was back and forth from the NICU. I was in a lot of pain. I was in a wheelchair, but I went as much as I could every 2 hours. And he was being given donor milk. It took about 5 days for my milk to come in, but that's a different video for next time. But yeah, I mean, he had to stay in the hospital, in the NICU, for 7 days before we could bring him home. And it was a really sad experience, but it happens. Next time, I'm not going to rush things. I think if I would have waited until he wanted to come naturally, things would have went a lot differently. And that's what we're here for. We're here to discuss these things. We're here to experience motherhood together, experience pregnancy together, and really experience the struggles of fertility and trying to conceive. That was a huge struggle for me. I was under the impression I would never have a baby. It was a very long journey. My pregnancy was a long journey, and my birth was horrific. But we're to a point now where I would do it all over again for my son. So that's that. This is the video that I wanted to start my channel off with. I wanted you guys to get to know me and know about my experience. I'll link the video of me holding Zed for the first time. And if you have any topics you want me to think about discussing on this channel, please comment down below and let me know. I want to be able to share this group with you guys, or this channel with you guys. I want this to be a really awesome place for everyone to come to, and I plan to make these videos quite often. So that's that. I will catch you guys next time. Please subscribe. I need your help. I need people to know when I'm making videos, and I'll be back. Have a good one.